What's going on, Geminites? GemMint here. Today we're going to talk about the 10 statues that I regret buying, so stay tuned.
He's done without the flash, no Wally West, no Barry Allen, reverse flash, they can't stand it. Comic flow, they can't stand it. I'm incredible, unforgettable, something like Mint Collectibles, ayy.
Alright guys, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. We're almost at 60,000 subscribers. We're doing a giveaway for the quarter scale Sagat statue from Street Fighter, so stay tuned to the end of the video and you can see how to join to enter. Alright guys, this is not going to be like a top 10 list. I'm not going to rank this from my favorite to least favorite. I'm going to just go chronologically from the oldest piece to the most recent on what I regretted buying the most. Number 10 on the list is the J. Scott Campbell Spider-Man comicette. The legend goes that when GemMint first got into collecting statues, I pre-ordered the Wolverine vs. Hulk maquette. I was so anxious on waiting for that thing to come in and get shipped that I went to my local comic shop and I bought two statues. I bought the Apocalypse Premium Format and the J. Scott Campbell Spider-Man statue, not knowing it was a smaller scale than the other statues. It's actually like a 1/5 scale. So when I unboxed it, I was let down with the size of it. It was an okay sculpt, it's an okay statue, but if you're collecting premium formats, it's definitely smaller than the rest, and it was the first statue that I regretted buying. I sold it shortly after that. Number 9 on the list, this is the Sideshow Batman Premium Format. Man, I was disappointed with this piece. A lot of people love this and feel like this is the best quarter scale Batman on the market. I totally disagree. As soon as I unboxed this, I just felt like the pose was so weird. My picture is the worst picture that exists. I've seen other people take good pictures, but the thing is, he only looks good from one angle. The angle where the gargoyle is off-centered. If you center that gargoyle, man, that knee kind of tilted in with his foot straight looks super awkward, man. I wasn't digging it. I didn't like the mixed media costume with this huge oversized sculpted cape. This was just a huge letdown, and it's overscaled at that. It doesn't really go well with other Batman villains from the same line because he's more of like in the middle between 1/4 and 1/3 scale. Number 8 on the list is the Iron Studios Superman vs. Doomsday. I was really excited about this statue because my man, Cheap Ass Statue Collector, had a review on it and he really sold me on it. Now, I knew this was 1/5 scale, or actually, I think it's 1/6 scale, but it's a diorama, so I figured it would still be a big enough size to warrant the presence of a large piece that I like to collect. When I got it, I was disappointed right away. I thought Doomsday looked great, but I thought Superman had a lot of flaws. His face looked kind of rubbery, the skin complexion was a little bit too dark for Superman, his cape looked like very cheap and plastic-like, and I could never get the Daily Bugle letters to really fit into the base the right way. So this one just had too many problems for me, and I was new into statue collecting, so I ended up getting rid of it before I moved out here to Texas. Alright, number 7 on the list is the XM Studios Thanos. At this time, I was new into collecting, I was picking up a lot of Sideshow statues, and I started to see XM Studios on eBay. I saw Thanos, and I'm like, man, this piece is huge. He's just as tall, if not a little taller than the Apocalypse Premium Format, so I had to have him. I think I even paid like $1,100, so overpaid. So I get him in and I did a live unboxing on Instagram. This is before I even had the channel. And right away, I could feel the disappointment. The paint apps were super flat. It just didn't look good at all. One of the Infinity Gauntlets had gems coming out that I tried to glue back in. He had a ton of switch outs, but I was like, man, where am I going to put all these extra arms? I got to keep him in the box, put that in storage. And I was just underwhelmed by it altogether, man. The museum pose, the simple base. It does have really good portraits, and I have seen some great repaints. Geo from Rad Titan is a good example of what it can be if you add a lot of shadowing and a lot of good detail in that piece. But for me, it was a huge disappointment. Number 6 on the list is a custom Holly Mall Venom. Man, at this time, I was still pretty early in collecting, and I was getting every quarter scale Venom statue. I seen this in a couple of room collection tours, so I hunted it down, and I finally got my first custom statue. This Holly Mall Venom was a clunker of a piece. It looked and felt cheap as hell. The base itself was just this very oversized piece of a building. It felt hollow. The texture felt rough. Venom didn't even key or peg in. He just kind of sat on top, and he just looked very ugly looking. Like the sculpt and the texture of his skin, his face and his teeth were ugly as hell, and it was a huge letdown for me. I kept it for a little while, but I ended up getting rid of that Holly Mall Venom shortly after. Number 5 on the list is the Tiger J custom Venom statue. This was one of the first statue reviews I did on my channel. It was one of the first custom pieces, and you guys seen the video. This video kind of went semi-viral because it was like my first negative review. I just did not like this piece at all. It was a huge, monstrous piece. The base didn't fit anywhere. It didn't fit in a Besta. It didn't fit on a Calyx. It had broken toenails, and I was just so disappointed and devastated when I got this piece. The video actually did really well, and the commissioner never really got mad at me. I think I spoke to him in passing here or there, but he didn't really get too pissed off. But that Tiger J Venom, definitely one that I regretted. I was so happy somebody bought it off eBay so they could take it off my hands. All right, number 4 on the list, it's so many Hulks. So many Hulks. I don't know what I was doing, man. Early on, I was a sucker for variants. I was a sucker for getting the same sculpt and different paint jobs. So this is how they got me with Hulk. Check this out. I got the green Hulk comicette. You know, the one that it looks like he's slipping on a banana peel. So I picked that up locally for like $300. It felt like a good deal. But it looked like it was rusted, man. He had like rust marks on his paint and everything. Then I picked up the red Hulk and the gray Hulk comicette. So now I'm 3 Hulks in. Then I start to find that Sideshow has a premium format. So what do? I get the green, get the gray, get the red. Now I'm 6 Hulks deep. And remember, I already had a Hulk because I had Wolverine vs. Hulk diorama, which was my first piece that I pre-ordered. So that's 7. Then I picked up the old school Gladiator Hulk and the old school King Hulk, which those are also the same sculpt with slight differences. Same paint, but just slight differences to make them Gladiator and King. So now I'm in 9 Hulks. Lastly, I picked up the recent Gladiator Hulk from Sideshow, but by that time I had already sold all the other Hulks, so I was only 1 Hulk deep. But man, I've owned 10 Hulk statues in my statue collecting career so far. And I don't even like the Hulk. No, I'm just joking. I don't like him like that. All right, number 3 on my list on statues that I regretted were the Mortal Kombat ninjas. This is another case of me getting overhyped with variant pieces. The same sculpt, but in multiple colors. Not only did I go all out and get Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, and Smoke, I even bought 3 custom ones that were custom painted to be Ermac, Noob Saibot, and Rain. These were custom painted by Louis Villamar, who took Sub-Zero and Smoke statues and just painted over them to make it look like these other characters. He even made little COAs that had their name to match the ones that Pop Culture Shock provided. But at the end of the day, it was just overkill, man. It was too much of the same thing, and they're pretty simple to begin with. Simple black base, simple scope, museum pose, and after a while, I got sick of having all those Mortal Kombat ninjas. All right, number 2 on the list is the Captain America Premium Format exclusive by Sideshow Collectibles. Man, I got sold on this off of hype. I thought this was an old school grail. This was very low edition size. It sells for a lot on eBay. Man, I got this piece in and I hated it. I thought the face sculpts were terrible. I hated the pose. No matter which way you position him, he always looked like he was leaning upward. He didn't look good down, which he was facing up, but he didn't look good upward because you couldn't see his face. It was like pointed in the sky. Hated that piece. I hated the mixed media on it, and I couldn't sell it for anything, man. When I wanted to get rid of it, even though it sold for a lot on eBay, this and that, man, I couldn't get rid of that piece for anything. I finally sold it, and guess what I did? I dropped one of the shields right before I packaged it up, and I broke the shit. Man, but luckily the buyer was super cool. He was like, yo, I was really just buying it to get this signed by Stan Lee anyway, and I think I might have gave him a discount or something like that. But, man, that was a nightmare of a piece. All right, guys, number 1 on my list, the most recent statue that I regretted buying, and you guys all know what it is. It's that custom Iceman statue. Holy shit, I hated that piece so much. You know, I didn't really mind the little breakages of like the little icicles. We were warned that there might be some breakages there. And if I gotta be honest, I would never have been able to find where each little piece would have gone. So no big deal. Totally hated the big clear hand. That didn't make any sense. That's not how the render looked like. And it just threw me off. It made the piece lack contrast. And it was all white and clear. Not to mention the fact that it was all white and clear and didn't really match itself. The arms didn't match the same kind of coloration as the body did. You couldn't tell what was what from the shards to the hand to the blast. Pieces didn't fit right. Arms didn't stay in. And I really couldn't display it anywhere. It was a monstrosity. I actually had a pretty cool place for it. No pun intended. But somebody hit me up and they wanted to buy it. And this could be like a follow-up to that video because I did sell the piece. Somebody paid $2,500. It cost me $600 to ship it. So all in all, I think I lost like $800 on a $3,000 piece. But man, I can't tell you enough how those type of reviews really help grow the channel. I gained a lot of subscribers. It actually made me some money on that video as well because people could see that I'm going to give an authentic review regardless of the consequences. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion, even if it breaks relationships with statue commissioners, which I was kicked out of both groups, and all that stuff. That doesn't really matter. I'm just going to give you my raw opinion on the statue. So, with that being said, those are the 10 statues that I regretted buying. Hopefully, I don't regret buying too many more, but I think a lot of these type of mistakes are mistakes that you make early on in your collecting career. So hopefully, as I continue to move forward, I make better decisions and less regrets. Let me know in the comments, what are some statues that you regretted buying and that you were happy to get rid of or couldn't even get rid of? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, we're going to give away this Sagat quarter scale Street Fighter statue at 60,000 subscribers. We're like almost there, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit notifications, like the video, and stay minty fresh. Peace.
They're saying I'm harmless, call me Cassidy, I'm bringing the carnage. Story to farthest, I'm a psychopath with a joker's lap bipolar. So there's two of me and only one of you, so do the math. I leave you stunned without the flash. No Wally West, no Barry Allen, reverse flash. They can't stand it. Comic flow, they can't stand it. I'm incredible, unforgettable, something like Mint Collectibles. Ayy, I'm a Gemini and we get it right. We amazing, no spider bites, so we doing reviews and getting the views. Venom my ooze, book it a week. Wednesday and see what I choose. If it's about comments, then I got the news. Subscribe to the channel and you never lose. Ayy, I show what I got and what's in the box. On top of my comments whenever they drop. Tell you what's coming and tell you what's hot. We keep it